The global system of technological containment is built on geographic barriers and hardware embargoes. But today, that system is actively leaking. For years, the prevailing policy has been simple: secure supremacy by blocking hardware exports and subsidizing the reshoring of physical manufacturing. This strategy is defined by two specific choke points: expanding entity lists to block the flow of hardware into China and offering massive subsidies to pull fabrication plants into Arizona. However, we are now facing a physical manufacturing paradox. Despite trillions in capital, localized foundries are struggling to reach operational status once they leave their home countries. At the same time, a digital paradox has emerged. Even under strict hardware embargoes, restricted states are successfully fielding frontier-level military AI by running it on downgraded chips. These strategies are struggling because they overlook the untransferable nature of localized engineering cultures and the massive leverage provided by commercial software optimization. The growing friction between these physical barriers and digital realities suggests that relying on purely geographic models of containment may no longer be enough to maintain a technological lead. To understand the physical production problem, look at this timeline. TSMC completed its newest facility in Japan in just 2 years, while the Arizona facility faces continuous delays. Both projects were backed by immense state funding, proving that capital availability is not the primary bottleneck in replicating these supply chains. Operating a 2-nanometer fabrication plant requires extreme physical tolerances. The rigid environment means a single human hair can ruin an entire production batch. This machinery is designed to maintain nanoscale precision 24 hours a day. It is an environment that tolerates no errors in timing or maintenance. Running these machines successfully depends on a hyper-specific labor culture, one with zero tolerance for hierarchical friction or delays in problem-solving. This rigid philosophy was established by TSMC founder Morris Chang, who built a corporate ecosystem that prioritizes immediate, around-the-clock engineering response. For Taiwan, this cultural rigidity is a matter of geopolitical survival, a concept often referred to as the Silicon Shield. This creates a natural disincentive for the company to build fully independent, state-of-the-art hubs abroad. If the technology can be fully replicated elsewhere, the primary island loses its strategic importance to its allies. Because engineering culture and survival incentives cannot be exported through capital, policies focused strictly on geographic reshoring remain inherently flawed. The stakes of digital containment are equally high. Hardware embargoes are specifically designed to stop the modernization of the People's Liberation Army, but the emergence of DeepSeek changed the narrative. A company acting as a civilian AI research lab suddenly developed capabilities on par with the world's most advanced models. This triggered a formal congressional investigation to determine how commercial entities may have assisted this rapid advancement. The records revealed a startling compute efficiency statistic. This model required only 2.788 million GPU hours for its full training, far less than Western developers typically need. Most importantly, it ran on the H800. This is a downgraded chip specifically engineered to comply with US sanctions and be legally exported. This bar graph shows the algorithmic workaround in action. By optimizing algorithms and software frameworks, developers were able to extract frontier performance from restricted, downgraded hardware. This was possible by a commercial mindset that treats any AI lab as a standard partner, rather than a potential security risk. The fallout is that this open-source architecture is now being integrated directly into PLA command and control workflows. PLA institutions, including military hospitals and defense mobilization units, have reportedly begun deploying these models. Furthermore, researchers found that the model produces code with severe security vulnerabilities when prompted with topics the CCP considers politically sensitive. This algorithmic bypass shows that a hardware embargo loses its effectiveness as a bottleneck when software optimization can extract frontier performance from restricted chips. We can analyze these case studies using the supply chain vulnerability framework identified by the RAND Corporation. This diagram illustrates the divergence between commercial efficiency and national security. Markets generate efficient, individually good solutions for companies, but they often fail to generate collectively good outcomes for a nation. In the software bypass, commercial incentives lead companies to treat any civilian lab as a profitable partner, regardless of the long-term strategic risk. In manufacturing, corporate incentives dictate retaining core technological monopolies at home to ensure international support during a crisis. This fundamental misalignment creates profound opacity across global networks, where actual supply chain details are hidden even from those who rely on them. Policymakers cannot bridge this gap simply by mandating resilience or increasing regulation. Forcing companies to maintain systemic surge capacity imposes massive costs on private actors who are incentivized to operate on razor-thin, just-in-time margins. Expecting private corporations to absorb these geopolitical risks without aligned incentives is a fundamental failure of modern policy. In a hyper-connected economy, rigid policy walls eventually dissolve. Data and algorithms simply route around physical blockades. Adversaries use military-civil fusion specifically to exploit the gap between commercial profit motives and national security protocols. This server infrastructure represents the physical space where civilian data and military intelligence merge, making commercial and military applications almost indistinguishable. To address this, lawmakers must stop treating technological supremacy as a problem that can be solved purely through geographic or hardware restrictions. Talent, code, and engineering culture move instantly, bypassing physical interdiction. True security requires aligning market incentives with collective risk, recognizing that in the 21st century, algorithms and culture are the ultimate supply chain bottlenecks.